Republicans. What are some possible solutions for preventing mass shootings? I generally lean left. But I think ultimately both parties have it wrong. In my opinion, the first thing to do is make getting a firearm like getting a car. Show a valid firearm license and you can purchase one. The real kicker is getting the license. If you want the license, the first time you get it you have to take safety courses. Like the NRA basic courses. Your class of license is determined by what courses you took and it says what firearms you can buy. After the courses and any time you want to renew your license you have to pass a written test and a range test, both showing a working knowledge of firearm safety and the latter demonstrating a capability to act on that knowledge. The licensure will do a few things. Those who are unwilling to learn how to safely handle a firearm, while still able to, will be deterred from purchasing a firearm. And those who choose to go through the training will be exposed to appropriate behaviors and will be required to learn them. I figure the only way to make sure this works is to also have firearm seller licenses with firearm seller license holders present at all firearm sales or hand changes. This is on top of existing laws. Of course. For instance, if an individual demonstrates to a salesman an indication that they are unfit to own a firearm, the salesman cannot complete the sale regardless of their licensure. Admittedly, I may have misinterpreted something my firearm salesman friend told me. But ultimately, my point stands. Existing firearm laws are not wholesale replaced. Only the bits that conflict with this. I know this isn't perfect. But I think it is a nice first step. I think you need to break up mass shootings into two necessary buckets. Gang violence, which is like 96% of all mass shootings. Then the other 4% is what people typically think of a mass shooting, where someone is shooting unarmed civilians. The first group stems from poverty, a lack of law enforcement intervention, or enforcing existing laws, and meaningfully life opportunities. Fixing gang violence is insanely complex. But in the end it comes down to changing the neighborhood and the socio-economic dynamics of the neighborhood, and actually policing and prosecuting people participating in the gang violence. The other 4%. People need to be able to defend themselves. All of these shootings are in gun-free zones where the shooter knows they are basically shooting fish in a barrel. To fix that, you need to either allow the fish to protect themselves, give the fish protection, like arming teachers, or make a system where the shooter doesn't have access to the unarmed civilians. Finally, if you want to legislate something, make it criminal for the media to idolize mass shooters. If you stop immortalizing mass shooters through weeks of non-stop media attention where the shooter's face, life story, and every motive and thought they had is plastered on the national news 24/7. You stop incentivizing the action of committing the shooting in the first place. For one, banning guns is just stupid because it's the people, not the guns. Guns don't just fire themselves. Better security should be at schools, stores, etc. If someone is in school grounds that doesn't go to that school, they should be searched to be sure they have no harmful items. Getting a gun would be more just getting a license. Not only should you get a license, you should have to show it to people. And someone with a license could still cause a mass shooting. To prevent that, there could be different things. A small scam that can detect bullets. Even if it's high-tech, we already have airport security and stuff. This could prevent multiple mass shootings if the person could be stopped at the door. Strengthening of the civilian militia in a volunteer fire sort of way and empowering concealed carry holders to respond to terrorist incidents. We have plenty of guns. The issue is a lack of communication resources and deconfliction training so they can be an asset, rather than a liability in stopping the threat. Actual enforcement of already existing laws. Mass shooters will be brought to the public square and placed in a clear square box. They will be given enough water to live. We will fill the box with rats. At first the shooter will have to live off them and eat them. We will add more. Soon it will overwhelm him and he will be slowly eaten alive by rats for all to watch. Bet you will think twice before killing people after that. There are lots of things that could be done. And lots of things I think should be done. But the problem is I don't trust the government to do it right. Make crime a crime again and notice shooters always go insane where they are unlikely to be shot. Back at. Notice at the congressional baseball game a few years back that someone shot back and it saved lives. Strictly enforce the laws we already have in the books. The gun debate ended with Sandy Hook. When that was condoned, it was over. Be safe. The number one action should be to stop praising, ranking, and glorifying the shooters. We know there's an element of contagion theory which drastically increases these events. Second, encourage stable families. There's a strong cultural element to this which government can't necessarily help. But they could eliminate marriage penalties and other policies which discourage or punish marriage. Third should be treating violent and other predicate crimes more seriously. We have to be careful not to overreact and overpunish. But many of these cases have severe warning signs such as maiming animals, violently attacking family members, or bringing weapons to school with the intent to use them on previous dates. The bottom line is the same firearms have been available to civilians since roughly 1900. If anything, the options have become more limited. During that time we've seen violent crime go up and down despite whatever laws were in effect at the time. Mass shootings in particular only increased with the rise of nationwide and 24/7 news in the last 40 years. Before that they were even more rare.